Well, marriage is one of the most significant relationships that you or I will ever have in our lives. It can be a source of great joy and happiness, or searing pain and sadness, where it just is a grind. Over the course of my life, I've done over, I was trying to figure it out, 50, 75 weddings, get involved in the pre-marriage counseling, get to know the parents, the wedding day, all the planning, all the rehearsals. And it's been a blast for me. I've married people from their early 20s and 30s to Henry and Regina Brazil, who got married in their early 90s. What a day that was. And I love to spend time with these couples. So I want to share with you a toolbox of ways you can follow to bring health to your marriage. I want to go over a process that I've learned over the years with these couples that takes couples through something where they can build upon that. You know, a toolbox where if something breaks, you get the right tools out and you fix it. And I hope that this toolbox will strengthen your marriage, or you'll pass this on to a person or a couple that you know is getting married in the near future. Part of what I love about marriage, being involved in weddings, is the pre-marriage process of sharing this toolbox, a toolbox that will last a lifetime and give couples their best chances of success. And wherever you find yourself in marriage, I think that these principles will really help you to move forward to that next level or that next step to get you unstuck. You know, marriage is God's idea. The scriptures read, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it." Marriage is God's idea. Holy matrimony. We call it holy marriage. Holy, unique, set apart, one of a kind, special. Nothing else like it. So I tell couples on their wedding day that you're starting the journey of 1,000 miles. So spend time working on what it takes to get you to complete the journey. So I give them this toolbox. I give them what I call the 5 C's of a healthy marriage. And the first one is this: compatibility. This has to deal with the background, the prequel, the backstory of a healthy marriage. It's been said that opposites attract. And then we spend the rest of our lives trying to figure out how we're going to live with somebody who's opposite from us, trying to reach some kind of compatibility. I mean, some opposites are so opposite that it's like the ocean grating on the shore and grinding pebbles into sand. Where God's idea of marriage is not that grinding away, but it's 2 rivers flowing together at a confluence where they become one river that flows naturally. That's what I have in mind for your marriage. Wherever you find yourself, however long you're married, I'm looking to help you get into that flow of the river so that you can just get in that inner tube and ride on the flow as it takes you down the river. Ride the stream. Now, here's an often overlooked tip about marriage. I want to talk about the family of origin for just a moment. I spend a lot of time with this on couples, whether they're in their 20s or their 90s. We primarily come from our family of origin. So therefore, we bring both parents of each of us into relationship together. I want you to be aware of what you're bringing and receiving into your marriage. I ask couples this question: describe your family of origin. What was it like? What was your mother and father's relationship like? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you describe your parents' marriage during your childhood years and why? And I ask them, what would it look like? Here's a really cool question. What would it look like if your mother married your partner's father and your father married your partner's mother? Kind of a crazy thing, isn't it? Your father with her mother, her father with your mother. But what we're trying to say here is that that's what takes place in marriage. We're bringing 2 families together, 2 families of origin. We're bringing both families into the relationship. Imagine your father and her mother, and her father and your mother. That's what's taking place in the family of origin. So I want you to understand, go back, look around, figure out what took place in my relationship with my parents that I'm bringing into this marriage. So how do we deal with this compatibility issue? 2, communication, the backbone of a healthy marriage. You know, we can deal with any problem, any obstacle, any challenge that comes to us in life if we can talk about it. We know that our relationship will have 1,000 twists and turns to it, unexpected surprises, changes. And the older we get, the more we know those changes, those unexpected things crowd into our lives. Some of them are good, and some of them are hard, and will require the very best that we have to give to ourselves and to each other. So communication is the fuel of intimacy in marriage, of surviving the twists and turns at our deepest levels of being. And that's what God wants in our relationship. He wants communication at the deepest levels of our being. So I teach couples to say these kinds of things. I want them to learn how to share your feelings. So here's what you say to your spouse. Tell me what's on your heart and what's on your mind. I mean, what are you really feeling about this? And if you tell me, I will listen. I won't interrupt. I'll be quiet till you're finished. I'll let you talk. I'll give you space. I won't make comments. I won't give you any negative kinds of body language. I want to give you my undivided attention. I simply want to listen. One-sided listening. Say to each other, I'm looking for ways to accept and understand you. I want to respect what you feel. And I will carefully repeat to you after you're finished telling me what you feel and what's on your mind. I will carefully repeat what I've heard so that you can be sure that I heard it. Now, here's the deal. You don't have to understand your partner's feelings, but you do have to accept them as real. Listen, pay attention, then move forward together. Accept that God has brought you together with your differences to complement each other. And if you start feeling defensive in this talk or this communication, which is really what happens, you know, we tend to take these things so personally and we start to back up and get defensive and counter what another person is saying. If you start to feel that way or protective, just pause. Take a time out until you're in a better place. It won't get you anywhere if you just lock horns. You'll be grinding the ocean on the shore. Now, I found in my relationship with Susan that the best way that we connect every day, although we talk a lot, we are talkers, we're always sharing our feelings, but the best way is we try every single day, and we're really pretty good at this, regardless of the weather, to take a walk. Get away from the phones, the house, our lives, take a walk, debrief. Yeah, guess what? At my age, I still hold hands. And we talk, we communicate, and we listen. There's something about the motion or the rhythm of walking and being outside that tends to open our minds. You know, it just breathe in clean air into our relationship. Communication, it's the backbone of compatibility. The third C, chemistry. It's the connection of a healthy marriage. You know the Novocaine of marriage, when you first meet that person and you think there's some potential here, and you start to date, and there's phone calls. You take long walks in the rain, those late night phone calls, the texting, the dinners, the dates. For us guys, we may attempt poetry, you know, or lots of flowers. I mean, early on, the relationship seems easy and simple and uncluttered, and it's really exciting. I can see myself with this person. We complement each other. We have communication. We have chemistry together. We'll be together. Yeah, and when we're together, that being together, we can do so much more than each of us could do alone. Well, why chemistry? And why do I put it here as number 3 in the 5 C's? Doesn't that come early on? Well, here's the deal. If you've ever felt that chemistry, that love, that initial excitement, and then you lose it over time, over years, over decades, guess what? If you ever had it once, you can rekindle that spark again. If you just had it once, you can get it again. So do whatever it takes to rekindle that spark on a regular basis. If you have to, get away. Have an adventure together. Do something. Susan and I last year went to Germany and Austria, part of the historical trips that I do. And then we stuck around in Austria for 7 more days. It was one of the best things we've done. So, talk about renewing. Talk about rekindling a spark in our relationship. It was so good for us. And we were saying, sometimes you have to get an ocean between us and where we live to get that spark rekindled again. Now, not all of us can go to Europe every year. We certainly can't do that. But the point is, get away together. Do something together. If you lose those feelings, you can always get that chemistry back to where it was. If you once had it, you can always find it again. 4, character, the sacrificial love of a healthy relationship. Here's the question that's asked about character. Can I trust this person with my life, with my deepest emotions, with who I really am? Are they trustworthy? Because if you lose that trust, you lose all. And that trust is gained through what I call sacrificial love. Character talks about sacrificial love. I'm not first anymore. You are. You are. You're first in my life. So I ask couples in the wedding service, I'll say to them, Sam, do you realize right now the concept of sacrificial love? My life for yours. Sam, do you realize that from this moment on when you take your vows that you're not first anymore? Do you realize that? Do you? And Sally, do you realize that you're not first anymore when you take your vows? That Sam is. It's the concept of sacrificial love, my life for yours. Now, if you understand that, you're ready to move forward in the wedding service and take your vows. You see, the more we understand about sacrificial love, the better life becomes for us in a relationship. My life for yours. I trust you. Why? Because you have sacrificed your life on a daily basis for me. And that leads to a healthy relationship. And whatever it is that gets in the way of that, get rid of it. I mean, marriage is like a tire, and if there's a flat side to that tire, if it's a little flat side, you go down the road and it goes bump, 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 bump. But if it starts to flatten out, rolling down the road, that thump turns into a thud. And the thud turns into the moment where the tire won't turn anymore. So build your lives on shared values of how life should be. Can I trust you with my life? Are you sacrificing your life for me? And am I sacrificing my life? The concept of sacrificial love, my life for yours. Work on that kind of character development every single day. It's the X factor in a relationship. Martin Luther, I love to visit his house in Germany on our trips, where he and Katie raised their family of 6 kids and 4 orphans that they adopted. Martin said, I learned more about faith in my marriage than I did in the monastery. It's the school of character. It's where I learned to trust and give my life away. And finally, competency. The skills, the capabilities that we have to have a healthy relationship. Do you have relational skills that will make your relationship work? We know that life can get really complicated, right? Hey, here's the divine trap. The peak marriage building, career building, and child rearing years all collide at the same time in a person's life. When they're younger, in their 20s and 30s, when they're getting married, having children. It's like a cosmic plot designed to test this relationship, derail this relationship. It's a lot of pressure. So you have to develop the kinds of skills that are needed to build a relationship and maintain a relationship through those kinds of times. And those skills are these 5 C's. They will carry you through any season in life. They'll carry your relationship through whatever you have to face together. Work on these 5 C's. Get help if you need it. Go to a professional counselor. Now, finding a counselor is like finding a personal doctor. You need somebody that you have some compatibility with, that you have a relationship with, that you trust. You just don't walk into some counselor's office and say, well, because you're a counselor, I'll take you. No, you got to get the right kind of person. So you might have to try them over and over and over again. And I encourage couples to take the Myers-Briggs test. It's one of the personality temperament tests. It's not a pass-fail. It's just, where do our temperaments line up with each other? How do they fit with each other? And everybody should read the languages of love. What are your languages of love? Quality time, acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, the giving or receiving of gifts. What are they? Because if you miss those acts of love, what you need and how you give and what you want to give, you'll miss each other. I had a woman tell me at the birth of their first child, she said, during the childbirth, my husband left the room and left the hospital. I didn't know where he went. I gave birth to the child alone. The next day, when we were leaving the hospital, I came out, wheeled me out in the wheelchair, and there was a brand new red sports car waiting there for me. He went and bought me a sports car while I'm having the birth of our first child, because he thought that's how he expresses love to me when I felt so alone and empty and like he missed that quality time. His gift was giving of gifts. What I wanted was quality time and acts of service and words of affirmation. So yeah, get that book, The Languages of Love. And don't forget to work on the spiritual component, by the way, of your marriage. God came up with the idea of marriage. He said, in it, I will take two spirits and make them one spirit in their inner core. It's holy, it's special, unique, it's set apart. I want to make you into one being. God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, they're like the super glue of marriage. It's the only place where 1 + 1 = 1. And that one has the power of two in it. So I encourage couples, find a church, get involved. And here's what you look for when you're looking for a church. Look for the message first. Is it the right kind of message? Then the music. Does it inspire you? Does it lift you towards God? Does it get you into His presence? Does that happen in the worship service? Then is there community there? Do you feel like a sense of belonging, that you identify with these people, that there's a good fit? And is it a good place if you're going to raise kids? Is this a good place? Is this a good community for your kids? Is it going to meet their needs as well? So don't forget that spiritual component that surrounds all of these 5 C's. You can get back to wherever you were in your relationship when you were first in love, in a better way, in a more mature way. That's the good news. Compatibility, communication, chemistry, character, competency. Marriage is one of our most significant relationships. It's God's plan for intimacy, wholeness, and fulfillment. That's why when God was done creating man and woman, He said, it is good. It is very good. And He wants the best for you wherever you find yourself this moment in your relationship and in your marriage. Because in God's eyes, His goal is for it to be good, to be very good for you.